She was standing at the doorway when I arrived, tall, six-limbed, glowing purple skin, and nothing but curiosity in those bright amber eyes. Her name was Zilari, and according to interspecies housing protocols, we were roommates now. Not metaphorically. Literally. One room. One bed. One deeply uncomfortable human linguistics officer. Me. I had one job: translate peace treaty clauses between humans and the Zilari Dominion without causing an interstellar crisis. What no one told me was that I'd be bunking with a 6-foot alien woman who interpreted shared quarters as something much more intimate. "Human, you must initiate fusion protocol," she said the first night, pointing to the bed. I blinked, nearly dropped my translator tablet. "Excuse me? You're overheating. Your respiration is elevated. Fusion protocol will stabilize your thermal state." I thought she was trying to kill me. Or seduce me. Maybe both. "I'm good," I stammered. "Totally stable. Super stable." She tilted her head. "Your emissions say otherwise." I made a mental note. Zilari's speech is either wildly technical or wildly suggestive. Possibly both. I sat on the edge of the bed, stiff as a board, clutching my pillow like a shield. She climbed in beside me, graceful, curious. I tried not to breathe. Tried not to sweat. Tried not to exist. "You may penetrate the rest zone now," she said softly. I froze. "Pardon?" "The bed. Enter the sleep platform." "Must I initiate contact myself?" "Nope. Nope, I got it," I mumbled, sliding under the blanket as far from her as possible. She stared. "You require separation? Are you ill? Rejection of bonding is a health flag." "No. I mean, yes. I mean, I'm not rejecting bonding, I'm just unaccustomed to sudden fusion." "So slow insertion preferred?" I choked. Coughed. Pretended to be dying. She leaned closer. "Your vocal patterns suggest distress. I could assist. My species soothes with physical pressure and frontal chest compression." "No, thanks. Really. I'll manage. You humans are so independent," she said, almost disappointed. I rolled to the edge of the bed and whispered into my log recorder. "Log 16. Roommate initiated another bonding attempt. Suspect covert military seduction technique. Must remain vigilant. Defense plan: stay wrapped in blanket burrito." 10 minutes later, she was curled up beside me, breathing slow, purring faintly like a starship engine on standby. I didn't sleep. Not a wink. Morning came with her stretching all 6 limbs over me and whispering, "You made it through the night. Impressive. Most fusers cannot withstand a full cycle." "That's great. I was afraid you'd eject early." My face flushed. I had no idea if she meant from the bed or from the treaty. Either way, it was too early for this. The next night was worse. I came back from my shift to find incense burning and her wearing what I could only describe as a ceremonial loincloth and feathers. "We begin Phase 2 tonight," she said. "Phase 2 of what?" "Integration protocol. You resist fusion. My superiors believe deeper exposure is necessary." "What does that mean?" "Continuous presence. Minimum 8 hours. No exit permitted until full emotional release is detected." I laughed nervously. "You're joking." She held up a holographic treaty. Clause 27b. Subsection 9.1.1.2.2. Human participants must not disengage from exposure environment prematurely. I reread the clause. Damn it. It was in there. "You wrote this into the treaty?" "It's standard for my species. Intimacy breeds trust. Physical nearness catalyzes negotiations." "Physical what now?" She touched her chest. "I'll disrobe." "Nope. Not necessary. It's regulation. We'll rewrite it." I tried to escape. She blocked the door. "I sense anxiety. Let's do breathing synchrony." "I'm already breathing. Excessively even." She gently pushed me back toward the bed. Resistance indicates readiness. No, it doesn't. I will commence contact, she said. This is not consent. This is compliance. Very different. An hour later, I was on the floor, wrapped in a towel, sweating like a heat-exhausted earthworm, while she sipped glowing tea and watched me like I was the strangest creature in the galaxy. You humans excrete fluid under stress. Fascinating. Are you leaking because of me? Leaking? I'm sweating. It's normal. I find it arousing. No. Please don't. The translator must have been glitching. She could not be saying this. And yet she was. Every sentence sounded like a proposition dipped in rocket fuel. Would you prefer a new position? She asked. Sitting? Standing? Sleep position. I'm flexible. You may mount the headrest if dominant angle comforts you. I stared at her, wide-eyed. You've got to be kidding me. Kidding? I do not understand. Of course you don't. Later that night, as the lights dimmed, she looked over at me and said, Human, I like your resistance. It's strong. Unyielding. I enjoy your struggle. That's not creepy at all. You remind me of our ceremonial mates, feisty, confused, unnecessarily clothed. I buried my head under the pillow. This is my life now. I whispered to no one. As I drifted towards something resembling sleep, she whispered, You're not allowed to leave. What? The bonding is incomplete. The treaty demands full participation. All night. I sighed. Fine. Just don't spoon me. Spoon? You wish to be fed? Never mind. I closed my eyes and wondered how many wars had started because of poor translation. Probably more than I could count. If I survived the night, I'd file a new clause in the treaty myself. In bold, humans require privacy and context. By the second night, I had a plan. It involved 3 pillows as barriers, 1 emergency escape rope made of uniform shirts, and the firm decision to say no, like I meant it. I returned to the room ready to assert boundaries. But Zalari greeted me with a wide smile and a tray of steaming liquid. I prepared fusion tea. It stimulates openness and lowers resistance. I took one whiff and immediately faked a cough. Sorry, allergic. Human lungs. Very delicate. She squinted. You consumed 6 spicy nutrient pods at lunch. That was different. They tasted like regret, not seduction. She placed the tea beside the bed. Perhaps you will drink after phase 2 begins. We're still doing phases? Yes. You failed phase 1. You did not release. I nearly spit my drink. Excuse me? Emotional release, she clarified. Your face was tight. Your body rigid. That is unhealthy. I considered her phrasing, decided to not respond, and focused on fortifying my pillow wall instead. She sat on the bed, unbothered, stretching all 6 limbs in synchronized motion like some seductive yoga instructor. Tonight we tried the position of shared entanglement, she declared. No. I'm more of a socially distant sleeper. You fear touch? No. I fear lawsuits. Do human males always speak in riddles? She asked, sliding closer. Only when we're cornered by gorgeous aliens talking about entanglement rituals. So you admit I'm appealing? That's not what you know what, let's circle back. I activated my translator again, praying the software would finally start filtering out innuendos. Instead it chirped. Statement: subject is experiencing arousal-based confusion. I threw the device across the room. It's broken. It's defective. It's horny. Zalari tilted her head. You're agitated. My scent must be too stimulating. I can suppress it if you wish. Yes. Please. Suppress everything. Then she reached into a drawer and pulled out a glowing orb. What's that? I asked. Bonding diffuser. It releases calming spores. I'm allergic to spores. But you haven't even, it's a human thing. Trust me. We puff up like balloons and explode. That sounds tragic. It is. Let's not find out firsthand. She placed the orb back, reluctantly. Would touch therapy be acceptable? No. Verbal affection exchange? Still no. Eye contact immersion? That sounds illegal. You resist all bonding. I'm not built for alien intimacy marathons. But you're so good at tension. Your emotional tightness could fuel starships. I decided I needed to do something drastic. So I pulled out my translator log and played back last night's entry. Log 16. She tried to disarm me using eye pheromones and pressure-based seduction. Recommend protective gear and cold showers. Zalari listened, intrigued. You record your fears. Very brave. It's called venting. I enjoy your voice when panicked. It has rhythm. Then she leaned in and whispered. May I hear your breathing closer? It quickens beautifully. That's not breathing. That's anxiety. Even better. Raw, unfiltered emotion. You're not helping. Suddenly the lights dimmed, and soft music started playing. I froze. Did you do that? Ship's AI activated bonding mode. Automatically detects tension between co-occupants. Turn it off. You must physically deactivate it from the bed. Of course. I crawled over, pressed buttons blindly until the music stopped. Zalari followed me, watching my every move. You humans are wonderfully expressive. Your awkwardness is a language. Glad you like my flailing. It's hereditary. Perhaps awkwardness is your mating dance. If it is, I'm a professional. She blinked slowly, her face unreadable. Do you want me to stop? I hesitated. Yes. No. Maybe. I just don't want to violate some interstellar code or get court-martialed for inappropriate spooning with an alien emissary. You think I seek mating? Don't you? I seek fusion. Connection. Soft skin beside mine to sync heartbeat rhythms. Mating is phase 6. How many phases are there? 7. Of course. I buried my face in the blanket. I'm not ready for phase anything. You need comfort, she said, curling into the edge of the bed, giving me space for the first time. Fusion isn't forced. It's invited. Then I respectfully declined the invitation. For now, she replied. The silence was oddly peaceful after that. She didn't press. I didn't run. We just lay there, staring at opposite walls, like two strangers playing diplomacy with bed sheets and body heat. Right before sleep took me, she whispered. You emit humor when scared. That's rare. And oddly pleasing. Thanks, I think. One day, I hope you'll fuse with me willingly. Let's not rush to phase 7. As I drifted off, I updated the log one last time. Log 21. Emotional hostage situation remains active. Subject may not be hostile, just wildly affectionate and dangerously literal. Note to self, don't drink the tea. The moment I woke up, the ship's lights flickered red. An alert blared across the comms. Diplomatic tension detected in shared quarters 7B. I bolted upright, heart racing. Zalari was already sitting upright, completely calm, sipping that suspiciously glowing tea again. This is your doing, I muttered. You triggered a crisis with Cuddles. The AI detected unresolved bonding energy. It's attempting resolution. By locking us in? Yes. Until satisfaction is confirmed. Whose satisfaction? Mutual. Emotional release must be complete. There's that phrase again. I checked the panel, door sealed. Communication restricted. Apparently, the ship believed a hostage situation was underway, and the solution was a forced therapy session. We're going to die in here because I refused to spoon an alien. You're not dying, she said. You're deflecting. I'm surviving with dignity. Dignity is a barrier to true fusion. So is kidnapping. Zalari stood and moved with deliberate calm. Your tension has spiked again. Allow me to begin calming gestures. No, thank you. You must try. I've adapted the method for human anatomy. Only 2 hands required now. I'm flattered. Still a hard no. You're resisting out of fear. I'm resisting because your species thinks emotional bonding requires full body contact and mood lighting. She raised her arms and dimmed the lights again. Ambient comfort. Part of the process. I will file a complaint with Space HR. Please do. They're very responsive. I retreated to the far side of the room. We're doing this wrong. Humans don't resolve conflict through touch therapy. Then how? We argue, bottle emotions, and make passive-aggressive jokes. That's deeply dysfunctional. Correct. She moved closer. You said you were trained in communication. So communicate. I don't think intergalactic flirting counts. I'm not flirting. I'm initiating warmth protocol. That's worse. Suddenly, she reached out, not to grab me, but to place a hand over my chest. Your heart rate is high. You must release the fear. You're touching my release center. That's your sternum. Exactly. I backed away and hit the bed. She followed, patient but intense. You're interpreting my actions as threats. Why? Because everything you say sounds like it came from an interstellar dating sim. But I've only offered comfort. With phrases like emotional surrender and invade my aura. Is that not romantic in your language? I couldn't respond. I was too busy laughing. She looked confused. What's humorous? You. Me. This whole galactic therapy session. Ah, she said, a small smile forming. Your laughter is a release. You're finally beginning to fuse. Don't say that word. But you are. Look, your shoulders have dropped. Your eyes are softer. Your sarcasm has become playful. I sat down, exhausted. You don't get it. Humans don't know how to bond on command. We mess up. We panic. We make bad jokes and overthink everything. That's beautiful, she said. It means your fusion takes effort. That makes it meaningful. I looked at her. Six-limbed, emotion-reading alien warrior diplomat, trying to cuddle her way to peace. And me, a guy who couldn't even make eye contact during therapy. What a team. I'm not good at this, I muttered. Neither am I, she admitted. We usually resolve conflict with scent and forehead contact. You resisted both. I was raised Catholic. We're naturally guilt-resistant. She laughed, actually laughed. A soft, vibrating sound from her throat. You have humor stored in fear. It's rare. You say that like it's a collectible. It is to me. The lights flickered again. The AI voice came over the speaker, fusion incomplete. Prolonged resistance detected. Even the AI is judging me now. I groaned. It's not judgment. It's algorithmic encouragement. Same thing. Then she leaned forward, serious now. If I asked you sincerely, to stay beside me, not as part of a ritual, but as a friend, would you still run? I looked down. Thought for a long second. Then shook my head. No. But only if you promise no surprise touching, no diffusers, and absolutely no fusion chance. Agreed, she said. On one condition. What now? When you feel ready, you'll initiate the next phase. I sighed. Fine. But I swear, if that involves body paint or chanting circles, just talking, she said. Honest, vulnerable words. Maybe even eye contact. Terrifying, I muttered. Utterly terrifying. We sat in silence after that. No touching. No teasing. Just two deeply mismatched species trapped in a room, slowly realizing maybe the fusion wasn't physical. Maybe it was just understanding. Before the lights returned to normal, she whispered one last thing. I like the way you resist. It makes every inch you give feel earned. I didn't respond. But for the first time, I didn't want to leave. The room was quiet now, and for once, I didn't feel trapped. No AI warnings, no forced bonding protocols, no glowing spores or emotional hostage-taking. Just her, sitting on the edge of the bed, legs crossed, staring at the stars outside the viewport like the entire galaxy was waiting for a cue she hadn't given yet. I cleared my throat. So, what happens after Phase 7? She turned calm as ever. We reassess. See if long-term cohabitation is beneficial to both parties. If not, we part ways. If yes, we begin Phase 1 again, willingly. You mean we start over? No. We evolve. I sat next to her, shoulder brushing her arm, and this time I didn't flinch. I never thought I'd say this, but I think I get it now. You weren't trying to seduce me. You were trying to see me. Exactly. And you hid behind sarcasm, mistranslations, and sweat. Hey, don't shame the sweat. That was stress-earned. It was honest. I admired it. That's a weird compliment, but I'll take it. She turned to face me, her expression more relaxed than I'd ever seen it. You taught me something unexpected. Your chaos, your discomfort, they made this real. Fusion through imperfection. You're welcome. I offer full emotional dysfunction at no extra charge. That dysfunction saved this mission. Your refusal to fake comfort forced me to be honest, too. So, I passed? You survived. That's more impressive. We sat in silence again, but this time it felt earned. A calm after an emotional storm neither of us knew we'd weathered. You know, I said, I used to think fusion was something romantic. Sexy even. It can be. But it starts here, just presence. No pheromones? No glowing orbs? Only if you ask nicely. Noted. She stood and extended a hand. Would you like to join me in rest cycle? You mean sleep? Yes. Nothing more. Just warmth. No fusion this time? Only if you want it. I hesitated, then took her hand. Let's sleep. But I want the side closest to the door. Still afraid I'll initiate Phase 8? Still afraid I'll enjoy it. We lay side by side, not touching, but not avoiding each other either. And in that quiet, I finally stopped waiting for the punchline, the trap, the next misunderstanding. I just breathed. She whispered, Your heart's steadier now. So is yours, I replied. I can feel it through the blanket. Perhaps tomorrow, no blanket. Let's not rush. The lights dimmed naturally this time. No dramatic gestures. No ship-wide alerts. Just a peaceful shift into calm. And somewhere in that silence, I realized something ridiculous. I missed her voice when she wasn't talking. I missed her weird phrases, her obsession with emotional release, her six-limbed logic. I missed her. I don't know what happens after this assignment, I said. But if the treaty holds and we stay allies, then maybe we can bond again. Voluntarily. With snacks. Now you're speaking my language. I studied. Emotional tension makes you hungry. She chuckled softly, the kind of laugh people only make when they've let their guard down. I smiled in the dark, realizing I had to. No more translator. No more logs. Just raw, awkward, honest humanity. The thing she seemed to crave more than any fusion ritual. As I drifted off, she whispered, You never truly resisted me. You resisted yourself. I murmured, You're way too deep for bedtime. Would you rather I say something inappropriate? Kinda, yeah? She leaned closer. You're still leaking emotional heat. Want me to cool you off? I groaned. There it is. And still, I smiled. In the morning, the door was unlocked. The treaty review had passed. The crew moved on like nothing ever happened. But she didn't leave the room. Neither did I. You're free to go, she said. I know. Then why are you still here? Because maybe. I'm ready for Phase 1 again. But on my terms this time. She extended a limb. I took it. No sparks. No AI commentary. Just two beings sitting side by side, learning how to not run away from what scared them. That night, I slept soundly beside her. No resistance. No panic. Just a ridiculous, wordy, sweaty human and his very patient alien roommate. And finally, emotional release, of the peaceful kind. Maybe tomorrow we'd fuse. Or maybe we'd just have breakfast. Either way, I wasn't leaving her room. Not yet. 3 days after the treaty was finalized, the ship's mission was complete. Earth and the Zalari Dominion were now official allies, and all personnel were ordered to prepare for transfer or return. Orders came in crisp and final. I was being reassigned. Different vessel. Different route. No shared quarters. No fusion protocols. Just a clean break. Zalari read the update without a word, then calmly turned to me and said, "So you're leaving?" I nodded. "Not by choice. Orders. But you accepted them. Because I thought it was over. You're lying to both of us." I wanted to argue, but I couldn't. I'd spent half a week locked in a room with an alien who taught me more about myself than any therapist, counselor, or captain ever had. And now I was packing my socks into a bag like none of it happened. "Maybe it's better this way," I said. "Fusion can't be permanent, right? Fusion isn't about permanence. It's about honesty. And right now, you're avoiding again." "I'm not avoiding. I'm compartmentalizing. Same thing with extra syllables." She didn't follow me around the room. She just stood there, arms crossed, face unreadable. "I was prepared to continue this," she said quietly. "Even outside protocol. No treaties? No phases? Just curiosity. And maybe, what? Affection? Possibly. I was willing to explore. And I was scared to. I noticed. I zipped up the bag. What if I can't be what you want? I don't want you to be anything. I just wanted you to stay." That hit harder than it should have. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't emotional blackmail. It was just a fact. A request. A door left open, waiting for someone to decide if they'd walk back through it. "You're not the only one confused by connection," I said. "Back home, we swipe left when things get too deep. Here, we go deeper when things get uncertain." "Of course you do." Silence sat between us like a wall neither wanted to climb. I looked down at the transport tag on my bag. Standard protocol. 0 room for exceptions. Unless one was requested. Unless one was fought for. I looked back at her. "Would it be wildly inappropriate to ask for a delay in reassignment?" "Yes," she said. "Very. Would you be disappointed if I did it anyway?" "No. I'd consider it phase 0. I dropped the bag. Not gently. Not with resolve. Just let it fall like all the pretense I'd been carrying around since this assignment began. "I don't want to leave this room," I said. "I don't want to wake up on another ship with a regulation pillow and no arguments about emotional tension." "Then stay. I can't promise I won't panic again. I'd be concerned if you didn't. I might avoid eye contact. That's part of your charm. I'll joke at the wrong moments. It's how I know you're trying." She stepped closer, but didn't touch. Just stood within reach. An invitation, not a command. "You're allowed to want things, Jack. Even if I'm not sure what they are. Especially then." I looked at her hands. 4 fingers, soft glow at the tips. Strong, but always offered with care. "You're not easy," I said. "Neither are you. But maybe we make sense anyway. That's the idea. 1 room? No protocol. 1 bed? Optional fusion. Emotional support through sarcasm? Mandatory." I stepped forward. She didn't move. I reached out, not because I had to, but because I wanted to. "This doesn't mean I'm ready for phase 8. There is no phase 8. She said. "That was a joke." "You joke now?" "Only around people worth confusing." We stood there, ridiculous and quiet and so incredibly human together. No ceremony. No treaty. Just flawed connection in the middle of a steel room in a ship far from Earth. "Can I still write logs?" I asked. "As long as I'm in them." "You might regret that." "Highly unlikely." The door stayed closed. Not because it was locked, but because for the first time, I didn't want it open. Not yet. Maybe not for a while. "You should inform your commander," she said. That you're staying. And what's my reason? Cultural immersion. That's vague. Very human of you. She walked past me, curled up on the bed, and patted the space beside her. Tonight we rest. No fusion. No expectations. Just presence. Sounds dangerous. You're emotionally armed. I'll take the risk. I joined her. No tension. No performance. Just the slow, awkward miracle of choosing to stay. I whispered. You're still impossible to read. Good. You're still impossible to ignore. We lay there, quiet again, and I thought about how far we hadn't gone, just two people, still weird, still complicated, still figuring it out. But now doing it together. I reached for her hand. She didn't flinch. I updated the final log in my head. Log 42. Mission incomplete by regulation standards. But fusion achieved anyway. Slowly. Stupidly. Sincerely. Human tendency to avoid connection, overridden. Recommend further testing. And just before I fell asleep, I whispered, I'm not leaving her room. Not all night. Maybe not ever.